Hello again from Lee Kreider, the producer of the RAAM show. I'm home, as you can see, and my throat has not yet recovered. So please bear with me. Happily, we have with us Andy Zemann with Team Rotary RAAM's polio. I got to wake up my brain too, Andy.
Good morning.
Good morning, Andy. Hey, as I said, we're so happy to see you. We were scheduled to do a report, what was it, Friday morning, I believe.
Yes.
I woke at 5 o'clock to start getting myself together and had a text from you that you had a rather serious accident in the car. And then you sent me this picture of the thing upside down. Andy, you're okay, are you?
Oh, I'm perfectly okay. We had I flipped my car on the interstate in Ohio. By chance, it was in Ohio. And my wife and me, we got out completely uninsured. So we just called it, we flipped the car. Others flip a coin, we flip a car. No, we were very lucky, and we escaped without any scratch. And but organizing a new car and had all the things done distracted me a little, so we agreed that we do that show later.
Okay, well, Chris Hoffman from Team Opportunist, I believe, if I made a mistake there, Chris, why, forgive me. He apparently came down the same highway within a few minutes of that accident, and he said the first responders weren't there yet, so it must have been very soon. And he said everybody seemed to be okay, but we got to thank the automobile industry for their well, we got to thank the government, I think, for requiring seat belts and airbags and all that sort of thing. Otherwise, you could have been pretty badly injured. It didn't look like the top was caved in too much, but just sitting on it.
No, we flipped around. I dozed out and lost track and hit the side rail. The side rail made the car spinning around by on the roof, and then we just slid away for another, I don't know, couple of seconds, and then the car came to a halt and we crawled out, and the truck drivers behind us were quite surprised that we already had our yellow vests on. That must have looked like we were prepared for that, but RAAM requires us to wear those vests, and so we at least that part was already done. So no, we were lucky. We were not hit by a car or truck when we were upside down.
Okay.
And two trucks already blocked 2 or 3 lanes, so we were safe from the first second on.
Hey, Andy, now that you're safe, sound, and I guess you're in Annapolis, are you?
Yeah, we are currently in Annapolis. We arrived Saturday morning, very early morning, and made a record time. So besides reaching our sportive goal to be below 7 days again, we reached that. We had 6 days, 14 hours, and 6 minutes. We also were quite successful in our main goal, that is collecting and raising money for Rotary's and Polio Now program. And we were able, as last year, where we collected slightly over $1 million. Also this year, we were able to set that limit, and we could raise over $1 million again.
That's a wonderful program, and we've talked more about it, but the idea is to get the areas of the world. Andy, when I was a young lad during World War II and shortly after, polio was the scourge of the country at that time. And people today, young parents, so forth, they have no idea what polio is about. I remember in the summertime when it always seemed to break out, because I was raised on a farm, I could go nowhere. My parents wouldn't let me go to the fair, which I dearly loved. It was our main summer event. Couldn't go out with my friends. to places they wanted to go. I was stuck at home, imprisoned, if you will, by this disease. My parents were terrified. And I remember distinctly, I was in college by the time the first vaccine, what was the name of the first? It was Salk or Sabin. I forget who was first. It was an injection.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I happened. Yeah. I went to the high school when I was home on a weekend from college, and they were vaccinating everybody there. And I got the shot. And then about 2 years later, 2 or 3 years later, they came out with the oral vaccine, which I guess is that's what they're using, correct? Now?
Yeah, Rotary's polio action goes through the oral vaccination because it's cheaper and it's easier because it's not not the problem to vaccinate people in Europe or United States or somewhere in the first world, but to try to eradicate this disease in currently 3 endemic countries, or Nigeria, Afghanistan, and Pakistan, whereby in Nigeria there have been no cases for a couple of for quite some time, but Pakistan and Afghanistan are still countries where we have outbreaks or where we have cases of polio. So the thing is that Rotary International and the World Health Organization started that campaign in 1985, which is quite, after the time you were talking about when people in the first world were really hit by this disease. And there were 127 endemic countries in the world with 350,000 cases reported per year. And this number could be or was brought down by this action to a few dozen cases a year, and going down even further. And I think that's if we could eradicate polio, this would be only the second disease that could be ended besides the smallpox. So smallpox was the first disease to be eradicated. And polio, we are on a good way. There are 3 stems of polio. I think I'm not a medical doctor, but as I remember, one of the 3 stems could already be eradicated. So we are on a good path, and we stick on. It doesn't help to say, okay, we have just reduced it, because it could increase anytime.
Yes. I can remember photographs. If I can find one, I'll put it in here, of a room filled with iron lungs. And there's stories of the power going out and nurses spending hours, pumping the thing by hand. Andy, thank you for being with us. Thank you for taking time. Glad to see you and both your wife in hold, and have a good trip. And maybe we'll see you again next year.
Maybe, we don't know. You never should decide right on the spot. But anyway, it was a pleasure talking to you, and I wish you good luck and as well, and good health, and you continue doing what you do. That's very interesting. I'm following you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Andy.
Okay, thank you.